The Monday morning rush at Whitmore & Co. was like a river of chaos, heels clicking, printers whirring, phones ringing in frantic chorus. Emma Blake balanced a steaming cup of coffee in one hand, a stack of files in the other, and a mental checklist running faster than her footsteps. As the firm's most overworked junior project manager, she didn't have time to breathe, much less babysit new hires. So, when she nearly collided with a tall, broad-shouldered man in the lobby, a man fumbling with a visitor's badge clipped crookedly to his shirt, she assumed the obvious. "You must be the new intern," she said briskly, barely glancing up as she shoved a folder into his hands. "Conference room B, 10 minutes. Don't be late. And hold this while I fix the client decks." The man raised an eyebrow, a faint smirk tugging at his lips. "Intern?" He glanced down at his tailored shirt and the leather watch on his wrist. Definitely not what interns wore. But instead of correcting her, he simply nodded, slipping into stride beside her as she marched through the gleaming glass hallways. Sure, the intern," he said, his voice smooth, amused. "Where exactly am I?" "Reporting?" Emma didn't look up. "To me, for today. Don't ask questions, just keep up. And whatever you do, don't spill the coffee." As they reached the elevator, she shoved her cup into his free hand and began rattling off tasks. "Copy these notes. Follow her to the meeting, staple those files." The man listened, bemused, every word of hers tightening the curve of his smile. If only she knew. When the elevator doors slid open, he caught his reflection in the polished metal, a man worth more than the entire floor's annual salaries combined. But for now, he'd play along, because tomorrow, when she walked into his office, things were going to get interesting. The morning sprint didn't slow down. By noon, Emma was juggling phone calls, negotiating with a stubborn vendor, and making sure her intern didn't get in the way. He didn't talk much, just watched her with that calm, knowing smile, stepping in to hold open doors or quietly fix things before she noticed. When the printer jammed for the third time, he rolled up his sleeves and had it humming again before she even finished muttering curses. Not bad for an intern, she thought. By 2 p.m., they were seated in a tense client meeting, the room humming with nerves. Emma whispered quick instructions to him as if he'd never sat in a conference room before. "Take notes. Don't talk. Just nod if they look at you." He nodded. But when the senior consultant botched a key figure in the presentation, the intern cleared his throat. "Actually," he said smoothly, his deep voice carrying across the polished table, "that projection is off by 1.3 million. If you adjust for last quarter's growth trajectory, you'll see the margin is significantly higher than what's on that slide." The room went silent. Heads turned. Emma's pen froze mid-note. How did the intern know that? The consultant stammered, adjusting his glasses. Yes, of course, that's correct. Thank you for catching that." The intern simply leaned back, expression unreadable, as if saving a multi-million-dollar pitch was just another Tuesday. Emma's brow furrowed. Who was this guy? He didn't look nervous, didn't fumble like most interns he looked like. He owned the room. As the meeting wrapped up, a senior partner brushed past Emma, clapping the intern on the shoulder. "Didn't expect to see you here so soon," the partner said quietly, almost deferentially. Emma caught it. "See you here so soon?" Before she could ask, the intern handed her the empty coffee cup she'd given him earlier, his lips curving into that same infuriatingly calm smile. "Better get a refill," he murmured. "You're going to need it tomorrow." Emma didn't know why, but the way he said it sent a chill down her spine. The next morning, Whitmore & Co. buzzed with a different kind of energy. Something big was brewing. Emma could feel it the moment she walked in. Executives she'd only ever seen on the 30th floor were milling about, assistants carrying fresh floral arrangements, and the receptionist whispered about some special arrival. Emma barely had time to care. Her head was buried in schedules when the same intern from yesterday strolled past her desk. Perfectly put together, no visitor badge this time. He didn't say a word, just gave her that maddening smile before disappearing into the executive elevator. Emma blinked. Interns don't have access to that elevator. She shook it off. Maybe he got assigned to another department. Whatever. She had a dozen fires to put out. By late morning, she was summoned upstairs for an urgent file delivery. She hated the 30th floor. The air was different there, colder, quieter, like stepping into another world. The carpet was thicker, the walls lined with sleek, expensive art, and the doors were heavy, each marked with polished plaques. She followed the directions, clutching the file like her life depended on it, until she stopped in front of a door that made her stomach flip. Daniel Cross, CEO. Emma hesitated. She had never met the elusive CEO, only heard the rumors. A self-made billionaire, ruthless in negotiations but charming when it suited him. The kind of man who could buy and sell entire companies before breakfast. Taking a breath, she knocked and stepped inside. And froze. Behind the massive glass desk, leaning casually in his chair, was the intern. The same calm eyes, the same infuriating smile. He gestured to the chair opposite him. "You're late. Sit." Emma's mind scrambled. Words failed her. You're the CEO?" He tilted his head, amused. "Surprise. Or should I keep fetching your coffee?" First, her cheeks burned as memories of yesterday flooded back, handing him folders, barking orders, treating him like an intern. But before she could stammer an apology, he slid the file from her hand and said, "Good. Now that we're properly introduced, we need to talk about you." Emma's pulse quickened. "About me?" His smile deepened, sharp and unreadable. "Let's just say yesterday told me everything I need to know about how you handle people, and I have a proposition." Emma sat stiff in the plush leather chair, her hands gripping her knees, her pulse hammering like she'd just sprinted up all 30 floors. Daniel Cross, the man she had treated like an intern, the man who could probably buy the building they sat in without a second thought, was studying her as if she were the interviewee, not the employee summoned to drop off a file. He leaned back, folding his hands. "Yesterday was enlightening," he said slowly, his voice carrying the kind of authority that didn't need to be loud. "You're efficient, direct. You don't waste time sugarcoating things. I like that." Emma's mind raced. Was he about to fire her? Promote her? Blacklist her for mistaking him for an intern? Before she could ask, he continued, "I'm restructuring a team. A personal one. I need someone who can handle pressure without falling apart. Someone who won't treat me like a trophy or a paycheck. Someone who can say no to me when I'm wrong." Her eyes widened. Was he offering her a job? Daniel slid a sleek black folder across the desk. "And there is a position, executive liaison. It pays triple your current salary, comes with travel, and yes, it'll put you in rooms where every word matters. You'd answer only to me." Emma blinked, staring at the folder like it was glowing. "Why me?" "I don't even," he cut her off, leaning forward, his gaze sharp. "Because yesterday, you didn't know who I was. And you didn't care. You treated me like anyone else. Do you know how rare that is in my world?" Her heart pounded. She remembered barking orders at him, making him carry coffee, snapping at him about the printer. She had been herself, stressed, blunt, unpolished. And somehow that had landed her here. Daniel's tone softened, just slightly. "You can walk out now, go back to your cubicle, and pretend yesterday never happened. Or," he tapped the folder, "you can step into a world where everything changes. Your call." Emma stared at the folder, the weight of the decision settling over her. But before she could open it, Daniel added one last thing, his lips curving into that signature, knowing smile. Of course, if you accept, things between us won't stay strictly professional for long. I don't hire people I can't trust, and right now, you might be the only person I do. The room went still. Her breath caught. Was he just offering her a job? Or something more? Emma didn't touch the folder right away. Her fingers hovered just above the sleek black cover, as if it might burn her the second she made up her mind. The weight of the choice pressed heavier than the skyscraper around her. Triple the pay. Executive status. Answering directly to the CEO, the CEO, who now watched her with an expression she couldn't quite read. A mix of curiosity, calculation, and something else she couldn't name. What's the catch? She finally asked, her voice steadier than she felt. Daniel's gaze didn't waver. The hours will be brutal. The stakes? Higher than anything you've ever faced. You'll be trusted with things you can't repeat outside these walls, even to friends. And he paused, leaning forward slightly, his voice dropping just enough to make her breath hitch. You'll have to deal with me. Every day. Her pulse spiked. She wasn't sure if that last part was a warning or a promise. Emma opened the folder. Inside, her new job description was detailed, precise contracts, NDAs, a schedule that looked like it could break anyone not made of steel. But at the bottom, in Daniel's clean, confident signature, was a single note handwritten just for her. You're not here because I need another assistant. You're here because I want someone who sees the man, not just the money. Don't make me regret it. Her throat tightened. She looked up at him, searching his face for some hint that this was a test, a game. But his expression was unreadable, save for the faintest glimmer of something behind his eyes. A challenge, maybe. Slowly, deliberately, Emma signed her name. The second her pen left the page, Daniel reached across the desk, taking the contract. His fingers brushing hers for just a moment, enough to send an electric jolt up her spine. Good, he murmured, standing. Pack your things. You're moving to the 30th floor. And Emma. She met his eyes, breath caught. Yes? His lips curved into that subtle, dangerous smile again. Get used to late nights. Some of them won't be about work. The way he said it wasn't flirtatious. It wasn't even a threat. It was a statement like the future had already been decided, and she'd just stepped into a world she couldn't step back from. As she left the office, clutching the contract, Emma felt both exhilarated and terrified. Whatever she'd just agreed to, her life would never be ordinary again. The first week on the 30th floor felt like stepping into another universe. Emma's new office overlooked the city skyline, skyscrapers glittering like diamonds against the night. Her phone buzzed constantly with urgent calls. Her days blurred into late evenings, shadowing Daniel through back-to-back negotiations, private boardroom battles, and dinners where every handshake meant millions. At first, she told herself it was just a job, just money. But Daniel Cross wasn't just a boss. He had a way of reading her, finishing her sentences before she spoke, noticing when she was tense and without a word, sliding her a glass of water or catching her eye across a crowded boardroom to ground her. He was commanding but never raised his voice, powerful but never reckless. And late at night, when the offices emptied and the world grew quiet, he let pieces of himself slip through, moments no one else ever saw. Like the night she found him alone in the glass-walled conference room, sleeves rolled, tie loose, staring out at the skyline with a look that didn't fit the ruthless CEO image. You ever feel like all this, he gestured to the glittering city, means nothing if no one's real with you? Emma hesitated. Then quietly, is that why you let me think you were an intern? To see if someone would treat you like a person? He didn't answer right away. His reflection in the glass looked tired, almost lonely. Finally, he turned to her, a faint smile ghosting his lips. Maybe, or maybe I just wanted to see who you'd be when you thought no one important was watching. The silence stretched, heavy but not uncomfortable. For a moment, Emma felt the air shift between them, not boss and employee, not billionaire and junior manager. Just two people standing on the edge of something neither had planned. But Daniel straightened, the moment slipping away as quickly as it came. "Come on," he said, his voice steady again. "We've got an early flight to Tokyo, and Emma." She met his eyes. His gaze lingered a fraction longer than it should have. "Whatever happens in this job, remember why I picked you. Don't start treating me like everyone else." As they walked out together, Emma realized something. This wasn't just a promotion. It was a test of trust, of boundaries, and maybe of a connection neither of them had expected but couldn't quite ignore. And though nothing had been said outright, as the elevator doors closed and their reflections blurred into the city lights behind them, Emma knew her life wasn't just about to change, it already had.